Hello, welcome to the first ever episode of Green Wave. We are 5 of the 7 Green MEPs representing all parts of Great Britain. We're here today in Brussels to talk everything about the Green New Deal. Sorry, can you make it text a bit bigger, sorry? Everything about the Green New Deal, which we've been debating.
That was great. That was good. Yeah. So this time
Make
for real.
it just like that. You made it your own a bit.
Yeah.
That's good.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Hello and welcome to the first ever episode of the Green Wave. We are 5 of the 7 Green MEPs representing all over the United Kingdom. We are here in Brussels today where we've just come out of a plenary session discussing the Green New Deal. And today's theme is all about the Green New Deal. So here with me I've got Alex Philips representing Brighton. Brighton, okay, I should
And the South East.
Okay, Brighton and the South East. Shall I just not do the regions?
No.
Yeah, it's up to you.
Okay.
I think maybe the regions might
it's
be
nice.
too
Yeah.
much.
Okay, no. Alex representing Brighton. Is it South East?
Just say South East.
Okay, so
Or
Alex,
just don't say it.
Okay, Alex representing South East.
But this was live, so we've got to start again now.
Okay, that's fine.
There's not going to be
But
any editing.
I think basically, if you make a mistake like that, it's
Oh,
quite
okay.
funny.
Okay.
So we
Alright,
could have
no
just rolled with it.
Okay,
Yeah,
so this
yeah,
time
we'll go with it.
And I
just
said,
go with
God,
it.
no, it's South East.
Okay, got it.
It doesn't
We're
matter.
just gonna go with it.
Yeah, just go with it. We'll correct
Otherwise
it.
we'll
We'll
be here
correct
all
you if you
bloody
get
day.
something
Yeah.
wrong. We'll just
Yeah, okay.
just put it right.
Okay.
Yes.
Are you ready? Hello and welcome to the first episode of the Green Wave. We are here with 5 of 7 great. Okay, sorry, last time. Final time. Are we ready? Quickest shop.
7
Okay.
of the 5 Green MEPs.
I was speaking as if I wasn't an MEP. I wasn't an MEP. Okay. We are. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Hello and welcome to the first episode of the Green Wave. We are 5 of 7 Green MEPs representing all over the United Kingdom. We are here today in Brussels to talk about the Green New Deal. We've just finished a plenary session discussing all about the Green New Deal, and I'm happy to be joined by 4 shall I say, of the 7 Green MEPs with me today. We have got Scott representing the wonderful London region. We have got Gina representing the Northwest. We have got Alex representing the South East.
Yeah.
And we've got Catherine, who's representing East. The East.
There we go.
So guys, first of all, thank you so much. I'm really excited about this. So for Alex, many people have heard about the Green New Deal. People have heard us talking about it, have heard politicians talking about it, but really haven't got a grasp of what it means. So can you please just kind of explain to us in layman terms, what is the Green New Deal?
Well, the Green New Deal for us helps to kind of combat some of the problems that we see in Europe at the moment. So, like, there's a big problem around inequalities. There's a democratic problem, so people don't feel engaged in decisions that affect them. And obviously, there's the climate breakdown. So it's a package of solutions that addresses those sorts of problems. So it would really see a large sum of money, a large investment put into new job creation, and not only would they create secure, well-paid jobs for people in the UK and across Europe, but it would also go towards tackling the climate crisis as well. And crucially, it can't be done without taking people with us on this journey. So things like, I don't know if you've heard of like people's assemblies and stuff, where ideas are brought out to people in their communities, and then they get to lead those ideas. And so that's how the whole Green New Deal would work.
Fantastic. So one of the great things about these MEPs is that we have all got an array of different talents. And Scott is our resident actor and who has many skills. But Scott,
Yes.
if you don't mind me asking, how will Brexit affect the Green New Deal?
Well, the sad thing is that we'll see what happens with the election, okay? But right now, this whole election has been about Brexit, when it should be about the biggest existential crisis facing the planet. So we should be talking about the climate emergency, the ecological emergency, and the public health emergency of air pollution. Instead, this is another election that's been dominated by Brexit. So, and if Johnson gets his majority and we look to come out of the EU, then that's just, you know, the Green New Deal, this whole revolution that's going to happen to create jobs, to create wealth, to solve the climate crisis is just going to keep getting put back and back. And if people think that this election, Brexit will be done by the 31st of January, they've got another thing coming. This is going to go on and on as we try and define our relationship with our closest trading partners on what environmental and what social standards we're looking to keep or get rid of. This is going to go on and on for years. So the biggest crisis that we face respects no borders. We need to be working with our European partners in order to solve this. And as Alex says, inequality is despicable at the moment throughout the world. We need to redress the use of the world's resources because a lot of the countries that are not causing this are paying the biggest price. And if we think that we've seen migration, it's nothing compared to the climate refugees that we're going to see as this crisis goes on. So we really do need this ambitious program of a Green New Deal.
Definitely. And I think one thing that's really important that's been highlighted by yourself and Alex is the fact that we can't have climate justice without social justice.
Exactly.
And they go hand in hand.
Absolutely.
We need to be able to bring people up together in everything that we do, to be honest. And in terms of actually creating new jobs, and Catherine, and for those who don't know, is our professor in philosophy. And Catherine, how will Brexit affect transports?
Well, in transport is
the Green New Deal. Sorry, how might the Green New Deal actually affect, and what will it do for transports?
Okay, so transport is obviously one of the key areas where emissions and other climate problems come out. So accessible public transport to enable people to make the choices that they need to make under the new Green New Deal will be absolutely important. Air quality affects some of our poorest communities. People are dying young. We need to address that. Many people nowadays are wanting to make a change from using air transport. There's a lot of decision to stop flying so much. And so we need to make night trains available so that people can effectively go places without having to get to an airport. And we need to get freight off the roads. So we need really good railway infrastructure. And that's one of the key things for Britain, to improve our freight transport on the railways. It's an equality issue. We need to enable people to get out on their bicycles. We need people to be able to walk to work and things like that.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Catherine. And Gina, for those that don't know, Gina is an absolutely amazing campaign in tackling actually fracking, as she's been doing so much so in Lancashire. And thank you for everything that you do, Gina. But as you would have heard from a lot of people, everyone's talking about the Green New Deal and what it brings. But fundamentally, why do we actually need to implement a Green New Deal?
Well, I think, for me, the Green New Deal, it's good news. It's like as Greens, we're really good at highlighting the problems because we know we've got, the climate crisis, an ecological crisis, social injustice. And the really good thing about the Green New Deal is it's a range of solutions and it tackles all of those things together. So just in terms of energy, a thing close to my heart, because we've been led down this, this cul-de-sac of, that fracking might in some way solve our problems when actually it's going to contribute to even more problems. And let's hope we've put a stop to that, at least in the UK for now. But the really good thing about the Green New Deal is that you get, in terms of energy, we know that there's solutions out there. There's massive potential with renewable energy. And actually our government has pulled the rug under the onshore wind energy sector. So we can go back to really investing in wind energy, offshore wind, and then there's new things that we can bring online, like fully renewables-based hydrogen. There's research on that, and particularly in the Northwest, we've got the potential for that to contribute. But all of those things create really good quality jobs, and they solve problems. So a massive investment in energy efficiency to reduce our overall consumption of energy in buildings would get rid of this ridiculous situation, this appalling situation where people are having to debate whether to heat their homes or buy food or put food on the table. So, you know, and that's what I think we should be celebrating. The Green Deal is a range of solutions, and so we don't have to be frightened of, I mean, because obviously, you know, you talk about an emergency, people get frightened, but the really good things is these are positive solutions that will improve quality of life as well as tackling the problems. And that's why we need this to be done properly by the UK, but also here in Europe.
Definitely. And of course, this is something that even within Greens, not just us and British delegation, we're working with some of our other colleagues all across Europe.
Yes.
And with Alex, as much as she's a mayor of Brighton and sitting in different committees, she's also actually taken it upon herself to actually set up an intergroup called the Green New Deal Intergroup.
Yeah.
So do you want to just tell us briefly what is this intergroup and what is the purpose of it, basically?
Yeah, so a Green New Deal intergroup. So first of all, an intergroup is sort of like the equivalent of an all-party parliamentary group in the UK. So it brings together people who are from different parties or groups. And there are 5 groups involved, so 5 of the biggest groups or parties here in the European Parliament are involved. And we're setting it up next week in Strasbourg, which is really exciting.
Congrats.
Thank you. And there aren't many intergroups that actually get established, so it is a huge win that's happening next week. And I'm working really, really closely with particularly the Labour equivalent colleague. The 2 of us are co-presidents of this intergroup, or will be. And the idea is that it won't just be a talking shop, that we will be creating policy ideas on a Green New Deal that will be taken up in committees and proposed to the Commission. So that is the idea of it. It's not just going to be a talking shop, it's going to try and deliver policy too, which I think is really exciting.
Definitely. And just a question just to throw out there to everyone. When we hear about the whole climate movement or people talk about the Green New Deal, people always say, well, the people on the lower end of the spectrum, whether that be working class people, people of colour, people who disproportionately are affected by the climate crisis, also need to be part of the entire movement and whatnot. What do you think as a collective, as Green MEPs, whether that be within the British delegation or the Green movement as a whole, can we do making sure that we're actually bringing people with us on this journey and they feel like their voices are at the forefront?
Well, I'm going to kick off a meeting on Saturday, once the election's over, with the massive diverse community that we have in London, to bring them in and listen to them, and a lot of young people as well from every different community within London, to come and start a dialogue on what the Green New Deal can mean for all the different communities in London as a sort of beacon, a kind of mini microcosm of the world, and hopefully those could then be ambassadors to roll out. So it's really important that we stay in the EU so that we can continue that work through.
And that people kick the Tories out tomorrow.
Indeed.
Absolutely.
Exactly. I think that brings our first ever show to an end. We need to get cracking and get back to some work. But thank you very much for joining us. If you've got any ideas or thoughts, please feel free to share it. Get in touch, and hopefully we'll be seeing you very soon.